We'll get everything set up and we will show the folks at home how to properly mount a scope that you have a stress-free environment and everything is aligned properly. We both run into this every day where they're installed improperly. So I would like to show you how we do it.
That would be great, because obviously people have different ways of doing things. And you know what? The way that I do it might not be the way Bobby does it, and the way he does it might not be the way you do it. Everybody has a little different way, and it's all good that we can learn from each other.
Most definitely.
Because there might be some minor things that I do that maybe could be done better. So that's why we're here to learn.
We have some blue Loctite. We always use that on bases. As you install rings, you want to leave them slightly loose so you can get proper alignment, as I'll show you here in a moment with the alignment points. We'll take the alignment points here and make sure everything's lined up before we do any lapping. You got to remember, every manufacturer uses a slightly oversized hole. So when you get your rings, you can take them out of the package, put them on, and there can be 10 plus thousands of variation. So as soon as you put your scope in there, your optics now have that much bend to the tube, which causes stress in the environment. Tighten these down. We'll use some lapping compound, and you apply a thin layer. We use 220 grit. You don't want to get too aggressive and you don't want to be too light. And as you can see, the black is completely removed from the inside of this ring. Typically, you want to have about 80% contact. We like to go a little bit more. If we can, we get 100%.
Is there a point where you can remove too much of the metal?
You can remove too much, which then your rings no longer will tighten down. ID Red, basically it is a non-chlorinated brake cleaner. Lapping compound is a grease-based product, so you want to make sure you have 100% of that gone to prevent your optics from slipping. You place your optics in there and see if they can freely move, and look for any light gaps in the rings. If you have 100% contact, you shouldn't see any. When you're installing them, you're just threading them in. You want to make sure that your gaps are equal on each side of the scope. Just like tightening the lug nuts on tires, you want to hop around a little bit. We'll level the raceways, and you sight on something that is perfectly squared. We happen to have a house across the street that we use the porch, and you can level the vertical and the horizontal crosshair with that, and everything is now perpendicular to the axis of the board.
We do the hex. We tighten the left, the right, and we go back over it. So what we're doing is distributing it just the same way you would put a head on a racing car engine. You want to try to keep the gaps equal, so you have equal distance between them both, so you transmit the torque equally.
This is a Capri Tools torque wrench. Nice little kit. Comes with a bunch of bits as well as a T-handle. The thing that I really like about it is you can actually set it to the actual amount of inch-pounds just by holding this down and turning. You basically rotate the collar to the exact setting that you want. If you don't use a torque wrench and you use a standard screwdriver, just the tendency is just to grind that down as hard as you can, and that's not necessary when mounting a rifle scope. Your scope rings and bases have a setting, and it's important to follow those. Otherwise, again, what you can be doing by over-tightening can be a detriment to the accuracy of the rifle.
Sure.
So this is set for 18 inch-pounds. They all broke perfectly, so we know everything is tight as it should be. After you mount the scope, you want to make sure that the magnification ring turns nice and smooth. that your parallax turns nice and smooth, because again, any compression on the main tube can affect any of the functions of the internals.
So now basically everything's set up, everything's straight. We're putting a bubble level on it. Some people have a natural cant when they hold a gun up. That natural cant at 100 yards could be an 1/8 inch, but at 1,000, it could be a couple inches. So this bubble level will make sure that you're holding the gun nice and square to your shoulder and just improve your accuracy.